Takamine or a Takamine ND45C. I can find nothing about it in the internet, but I haven't done too much of a search. It has been through the wars. As you can see, it's been crushed there. It's been crushed there and cracked there. Almost identical to the other Takamines I've done before. The guitar has been worked on. It's got splits. It's had some lacquer painting on it. It's had bashes and lumps galore and chunks taken out of it. As you can see from the bridge and saddle, that's going to have to be replaced, obviously. But I need to know from the owner whether he wants it a fully acoustic guitar or he wants to have the electric capability still. With all that damage, you can see that you can drive a horse and truck through the strings. The neck itself, yeah, there's a very large underbow on the neck, which means the truss rod needs to be tightened. Let's hope the truss rod works. It's in there okay, I can see it. Right. And you also notice from the same as the other Takaminis, this guitar the string is further away from the edge than the E string, so the whole thing is skewed round. So we can get a cheap bridge. I don't know what the owner wants to do with this guitar. Look, there's even a crack up there. I can get it working again, right? We've done it before. Need to replace the bridge. If he wants a Takamine bridge with a split coil on it, he's going to have to wait because they come from America. But we can get him another bridge with an electric coil beneath it. But we'll see. We'll see what the owner wants to do. Maybe he doesn't want a bridge. Maybe he doesn't want a... That's got a mess too. I'm just looking out there too. Maybe he doesn't want to have it electrified, but that's up to what he's going to tell me. And it's important to know what he's going to do with it, because if he's going to play from there to there, if that's where the money shots are, as they say, then we might be able to do some sort of mock-up and not go crazy. But we still have to take off the bridge. Yeah, I'm thinking about it out loud. But the way I would do this, I wouldn't take the neck off because the neck has been worked on. I don't know what's beneath the neck, but somebody's cut a chunk out of it and put it back in again. So maybe they've tried to do something which I can't see for myself here. I'll have to get inside the guitar. I'll have to cut the strings off to have a good look inside. Oh, the strings are wasted, so I think I'll do that and then come back to you again. Well, let's have a look inside and see what we have in here. What's this here? Yeah. Right, okay. Let's see what else is done with the back, because the back's been taken off. Something's been done there. And there's the metal box of workings. Are they cables? Are they pluggable cables? Yes, they are. This is a rather old-fashioned one. It's got lots of... I think that's just dust. I think it's just dust, but I do see some mold in there. I never know what you find in there right enough, you know. What's at the very back? Let's have a look and see it focus. Right. This is one of the early Takaminis, and I think they went far too elaborate on the electronics, but that's pretty normal. The electronics are the old-fashioned type, and they've got all sorts of things in there that they can do with them. Presets and all that there. This is probably one of the higher value Takaminis. Although, I tell you, I wouldn't be tempted to buy a Takamine after the ones I've seen coming through my bench. The back has got a few dents and scratches and scrapes on it. It's not bad, not bad. I think I can get this back up and working, but I think we need to go the cheapest possible route, Mr. Owner. So I would replace that with an ordinary bridge. with an ordinary saddle with an ordinary pickup beneath it. I think your amp is working. I've had it switched on. It makes a lot of buzzing noises, and this makes a noise, but you're not getting any guitar sounds because the strings are not hitting them. So replace that bridge with a cheap bridge and a cheaper electric pickup, and that'll be about, I think you can buy them for about 20 quid all in. And the nut's alright, just needs to be cleaned up, and the neck's going to have to come off. Now the issue with the neck is that when you put a little bit more on the neck, you'll find that I put a little wedge underneath the neck, starting at nothing and then opening right up until we get there'll be about another, see the width of the fretboard? It'll be about the width of the fretboard beneath that again. And what that does is it makes this thicker down here, although the Takamine neck is quite thin anyway. So it'll bring a thickness there and bring a little bit more thickness there and be fairly normal there. May have to replace the nut with a bigger nut. But that is the issues surrounding doing the under fretboard. I wouldn't take that neck off completely. I wouldn't touch it. It's just not worth it. It'll fall apart in pieces, I think, anyway, because it's really been through the wars. I think somebody hit it or somebody else over the head with it. But it can be fixed. It can be fixed fairly cheaply, but I need to know what the owner wants to do with it. If he wants to try to get back to Takamine original with Takamine saddle and bridge, it'll take a lot longer. Working on the Takamine, taking off the fretboard, it's had a hard life. When I took off the fretboard, it showed the weakness underneath it. This had come off, so it's going to have to be glued back in again. But we'll see what pleasures we have whenever we've taken the whole fretboard off. Finding little bits of plastic under the neck and bits of used edging, and you've seen that already. But I'm slowly getting there, working my way up the hot iron. We've got that far off. The good thing about a hot iron is it does bend the fretboard, but when you're putting the fretboard back down on a flat piece of wood, it goes back to normal. What on earth do Takamine use to glue on their fretboards? I have used super hot heat. I have used amazing patience. But after 3 hours, that's as far as I've got. So I'm taking drastic measures. I've never had to take off a fretboard this way before. So I'm having to use drastic measures. So I'll put the camera up and let you see me use these drastic measures. Never had to use measures like this. But here we go. This is deadly sharp as well. I've already cut my finger on it. I cut my finger on the first time I used it, and I've cut my finger on it now. Even this is hard. What on earth? Bloody hell. Feels like I'm cutting through the truss rod, but it can't be. That feels like metal. What on earth is going on? Yeah, it's right along the top of the truss rod. I think it's hitting along the top of it. Whew. So what I've got to do is lift this at the risk of it splitting over the top of whatever that. Yeah, something's hitting it there. Boy, you're not letting me away with this easy, are you? And I can't get in there because it's got an angle. So I'm going to have to fight my way past. So there's something there. Maybe the truss rod's got a little lump. So I've got to get past that, and I'm going to have to use heat and force and bloody hell. Let me just feel it. Let's see if it's got a... Well, this bit's already been softened, so I can't figure out why. I can feel the metal thing, whatever that metal thing is. But irregardless of that metal thing, whatever it is, I've got to get past that up the rest of the neck. So what is that metal thing? Just identifying it's not going to help. You've got to get past it. Yeah, it's possible I may have cut through a little bit of the truss rod and it's sitting as a burr, but it's hard to tell. So I'm going to have to use blunt force and ignorance because I can't get past this. So let's try. Let's just try that. Yeah, that might have just knocked the spur off it, whatever it was that was holding it. I'm going to have to pause. I need a drink. Whew, I'm knackered. I think I'm hitting another bit of metal. All that, and I've only got the distance of one fret. Bloody hell. This is the day after the night before. And as you bloody saw, I had to use a bloody saw to get the bloody saw up the neck because the glue was so fierce. I don't want to saw the thinnest part of the neck because it really is thin there. So I'm going to go back to trying to get the glue. Now this heater, this iron, has been sitting on this for the last 30 minutes. I'm going to take it off now and see. You can see the steam rising from it. So I'm hoping that it may get something with such fierce heat. If I can't get the end part off this way, what I'm going to have to do is cut a little chunk of the neck there and get the saw in that way, because then but I don't want to saw that way because I just can't trust the saw blade. So where's my other tool? Where am I? Oh shit, I'm badly organized. Well, just, oh, there it is there. Now, this will be piping hot, so I'm not going to put my hand on it like I did yesterday. I've already cut myself on the saw. Boy, this is I'm a pockle with this one, or if I'm not a pockle, some people you Northern people won't know what a pockle is. Oh my goodness, I can't even get this is a good way to cut my hand off. If I slide with this, this is piping hot. You'd think that I want to know what glue Takamine used for their fretboards, because it's fierce. Not a chance. Put that back on again. What I done did it as well. I've got little rags. I soaked them, put them on the frets themselves, and let them burn right through with the soaking water steaming going through the wood and everything. And not even that. In saying that, my saw cut looks to be relatively even, although it started to take part of the neck away there, which worried me, and I didn't want to do that. I would never, ever, ever do this on a precious guitar that needed to get back to normal again. This is a guitar that playability is the only thing the customer's interested in, and the looks don't matter, but they do matter to me a bit. All right, okay. I'm going to try brute force here. Let me just use wrong screwdriver. I'm going to just try a little bit of brute force. What are all the magnetic filings? Oh, you know where that's coming from? Those magnetic filings are coming from the truss rod top. My saw was slicing through the truss rod and going onto the thing. Oh, I do feel a little bit of, but what do I feel? What is it that's giving? Let me put my glasses on. My second pair of glasses. I can get a close-up look at this. All right, okay. All right, let me look at the other side. Never ever would I do this. Oh, no, that's actually causing a little split in the wood there on the other side, which you can't see. I would never even think of doing this on a good... Mind you, I was not fond of Takamines in the first place, but this has made me even less fonderer. Yeah, I'm afraid of breaking the neck there. That's hot. And I know I'm causing a little bit of thing on there, so I'm going to have to take a trim off that. I'm going to switch the camera off while I try to take a trim off that. Or maybe, let me just see. Can I get in and around? This is Drastic stuff. That is the finer edge of the saw. Is it working? It's working better than the heat. Now, what I need to do is take the leverage off there and try it. Let's just hope this doesn't slide, because my little finger has already suffered from this saw. And let me just show you before I can't clamp the body down because the body's cracked and damaged everywhere. Crack there, crack there, crack there, crack there. And the slightest bit of a clamp on it makes the cracks worse. So this is a rescue mission and a half. Suicide by guitar. Never heard of that before. Right. The other way, I could slice across the frets and take them out one by one. But I tell you, I don't want to do that. Because so far I've got the fretboard all in one place. I don't like, see, the blade's going that way, so it's going down into the neck a little bit, and I don't like that. If I can get this fretboard off in any form or fashion wholly, I can add strength to the neck again. I'm taking a break. Right, okay, chair back. God, whatever that glue is, it's sticking like hell. I tell you. If I had both hands, I could work it like that, but I don't have both hands. This is safer. Look how close I am to getting this off. I'm into there. Right, okay, let's... I don't want to do anything out of frustration. I want to try to keep it going. I can feel this running along the top of the truss rod as well. I can't get a good grip. Let me just try bring that out without cutting the arm of myself. Let me just try to get some clamps on this. Yeah. And see if I can. And I've also discovered that the clamps I have, which are cheap, nasty ones, they're starting to not work the way they should, and they're falling off. And I don't like that, so there's more money I've got to spend. giving me some leverage. What is the neck like on the other side? Yeah, okay. 2 hands. No, 1 hand. I have a feeling most of the effort that I'm putting into this is cutting through the glue. We're going to see in a second. Are you still recording? You are. Alright, we're right up to the first fret. I think we've got about half a fret to go. A bit more leverage. I feel it giving way. Hold on. Let me twist. I twisted it a bit. Right, okay. Gosh. Look at that there. And look at the neck. That was a job and a half that I wouldn't want to tackle again. But knowing how stupid I am, I will tackle it again. Right, okay. Fresh, hot off the press. There's a little crack there, but luckily it's not unrepairable. Anyway, by the time I finish this neck, and look how flexible, look just there, how weak the whole body is. So it's going to need some strengthening. Truss rod, there's a little bit there of the truss rod that gave me such trouble in the middle. I cut into it and I cut into it again there. Nearly gave up at that stage. Right, okay, that's still warm. Nice and warm. Let's see if I can take the truss rod out, keep all these little bits. Let me see, my back or forth? Right, back. I'm just letting this camera roll. That little bit I took off will go in one of the plastic jars. You see Dave's World of Fun stuff and Rose of String Works. They have little containers shaped like guitars you can throw things in. But when you've got a cat, you've got to put everything sealed in the thing because he'll put his paw in and rip them out. Right, let's see if I can get this truss bar out. Yeah. Give it a clean up. Don't even know if I really need to take it out, but I'm going to take it out to give it a clean up. Yeah. It's still working. It's been bent at the end. Been bent there at the very end. We'll see what we can do with that. That's probably when it was. And look, something in there. Oh, paper. Right, okay, it's some sort of wax paper. Or wax tape to make it slide. Right, okay, well, Takamine. I don't know what that green stuff is. Now, what about this glue? Let's have a look at the glue. Oh, there's that glue there. Just see, we're like an epoxy. Let me just see if you can see it too. Whatever it is, it's good stuff. My blade has cut. My blade has cut the glue. In many places it sort of sliced through the glue. It took wood there, but I'm not actually worried about that too much because this is all going to be built up at an angle like that. There's going to be another piece of wood on there. And the neck is not damaged beyond repair. What's on that? What's that on the back? Oh, it's just a little chunk out of it, which nothing to do with me, I'm glad to say. So before I do any more with the neck, I'm going to try to build up the body and put some posts in there. And, you know, like the pillars, put some pillars in there to hold up the body, stop it from sinking any further. And I'm going to press the off button. Somebody, somewhere, will want someday to know how a Takamine truss rod works in an acoustic Now this was an ND45 acoustic guitar. I'll stick a picture up here, let you see what it looks like. I'm not picking on Takamine in particular, it's just because I got a Takamine guitar on. And I must say I'm not that impressed with their truss rod. Another little problem with this, the truss rod is damaged. Only one side of it works. I've temporarily fixed it. But I suspect that what we're going to have when I put this back in is only one chance to get the neck straight again, because I wouldn't trust that little fix I've done. If you see that little wedge piece of metal, there's supposed to be one on that side too, but it's broken off. And this was all bent out. As you can see, it's all burnt. I don't know why it's burnt, because it was nowhere near what I did, but I think it was burnt before, whatever has happened. Maybe that's how they forged it. But that was all bent out of shape. So when I put it back in, you get one chance and one chance only. This is relatively boring. I'm putting back the bits that are missing, and I'm going to clamp them down and let them glue. And then I'll come back to them tomorrow. I'll show you the finished, well, after I've glued them, I'll show you what they're like when they're glued. Not a great deal to see. I put a block of wood on top of that one to keep it flat. This one didn't need a block of wood because it's so fragile. I've just put a clamp on it, and I'll let that sit for 48 hours, and that's it. And then I put the other piece of wood on it. I think professional luthiers would be shock horror probe at what I'm going to do next. But all I want to do is get it playable along there. You can see this guitar is, its last legs have already been cut off, but what I'm going to do is, because it's sunk in, because it's been cracked and bashed, and it's got cracks of it, this is sunk in and the neck is raised, and the truss rod won't do anything with that. So what I have to do when I've built this new bridge, I have to get the neck about there, and as you can see, that's quite a distance. So what I'm going to do, I've done this before several times, I'm going to put ordinary wood. This is just ordinary wood. I'll put it on this side just for your benefit. And then the fretboard goes on top, and that raises the fretboard up. And I'm going to put another bit on the other side. Just the way you see it there, I'm going to glue it down, and that'll be slightly over the edge. I'm going to glue this slightly over the edge because it cuts nicely. And on the other side, then I just cut down there, and then I'll plane and obviously sand both of them down. It looks like the Titanic. There's tracks on it, the stacks on it. Yes, and it's in as good a shape as the Titanic. So there you go. Choo choo. Boat. Let's hope it doesn't sink. Bye. Now, I am looking carefully at your fretboard, and as you can see in this very clear shot, it's got a lot of gunk on it, but it's actually not a lot of gunk. It's actually whatever they used to cover the paintboard has come away and moved to the side whenever your fingers play it. Now I suggest scraping and get this flat again, because you can see it's in pretty bad shape when you look this way. It won't do the fretboard any harm. It'll get rid of all that and make it a bit more playable, but it will change the appearance a bit, because I don't tend to paint fretboards. I oil them because the paint will just do this. You can't buy one of these anywhere, these bridges and saddles. You can get the split saddle, okay, but the bridge needs to be replaced. That's exactly where I didn't want you to go. Will you get out of there? Come on. I'm just about to do the Takamine. Come on. Out you go. Come on. Little brat. Cutest little brat in the world. Right, that's better. The lighting's now better. I've changed my mind on this, right? I was going to replace that bridge and replace everything. But when I've taken it apart, I understand the Takamine bridge a little bit better. That there sits on top of that and is screwed down. And it pops up through holes here. Right. And you see that they have a split saddle there and there at different angles. Well, the owner has given me instructions that it's playability he wants to have. The best playability, and looks don't matter. Well, that's good, because this is going to look ugly, but it's going to play well what I'm going to do. So as you can see, the Takamine bridge is straight, even though they have a split. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an ordinary bridge in there, clean that out a bit, so that you can get touching on the top of those, because that is a straight line of holes beneath that if you look closely. Let me just put my other glasses on. Yeah. What you're seeing, what did you just knock down there? You just reached across and knocked one of the screws down. You are going to get it to the moon, Alice. So what I'm going to do is clean that out and get those screws lined up. I'm just going to go deeper. It looks like the screws are at an angle, but the holes are at an angle. But if you look at the edge of that one and the edge of that one, and you come down, you'll see that these edges are covered. So I'm going to bring that down, that wood down, and put a bridge in there. And then I'm going to put strips of wood in there and there, hardwood, so it'll set the bridge up. And then I'll put that in on top of the holes where it should be. That goes there, and that sits on top of those, and then the saddle goes on top of that. So all I have to do is give myself a clean router cut right across there. Doesn't have the split anymore, but it will still be able to use the Takamine bridge and the thing. Now I'm going to get the chappie to order some blanks of the saddle so that I can experiment and make it. And I think that should work. It might not look the prettiest, but it'll work. Quick update. I've increased the fretboard. I've raised it higher. I decided not to taper it because it needed quite a chunk of height to get this playable. I got a feeling what I'm actually going to do with this neck is paint it brown to try to hide as much as possible. So I stuck a little bit of maple there to try to raise the bridge. I've marked it out with the shape of where the saddle's going to go and the screws. So when that's solid, I'm going to use a small router and cut the grooves in it, and cut this place where the screw holes are, and put the saddle in. I'm just colouring in the maple wood. The marker is a furniture touch-up marker, chestnut it's called, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm not going to show you the whole thing coloured in, just to let you see it's doing, and then I'll put a coat of lacquer on top. Okay? And the same applies to the piece of wood that I put up at the top. This is just a piece of wood to extend, to hold in the nut. It's a piece of hardwood that I found and I carved it to the right shape. And then it'll be glossed as well. All right. Okay, this is the Nightmare guitar. As you see, I took the fret off and put a shim in. Bring it up. I had to manufacture a type of bridge. A couple of pieces of maple glue. But the interesting thing is that it's all working. This is the electrics. I don't know how you work these electrics, but that's on electric. I have 2.5 down at the E string, 2.5, which is exactly right for an acoustic guitar. It'd be nice to get it down to 2, but that's hard to get on an acoustic guitar. Up here at the fret end, it's right as far low as I can get it. So you know what I've done with this. All the tuners were loose. I had to put another piece of wood in there to hold up the nut which I raised. I put in a strip of wood the whole way beneath the frets. I leveled the frets, I polished the frets, I rounded the frets. I had to bring these frets down. I had to put in, you'll see a pole in there and it's on the strut at the bottom. Can you see it? It's actually the struts holding it. The back is bulging a bit, but that's the only way I could get any sort of decent putting that in. And the bridge, now I haven't touched the bodywork yet. I have done a few little bits of the bodywork, but not much. But I'm going to try to tidy up a little bit, but not much. But the main thing was to get this playing. Let's see what the sound. Pretty good. It's got presets, which I think are pretty good. I just can't see them with my feckin' glasses. I don't swear on this channel, by the way. Feck, Father Ted. So where is it? They've got presets, right? These are presets. 1. You can hear them changing. More mellow. Or you can go off the presets, or you can write your own presets. It's got reverb. I just put it on full reverb. That's pretty good for reverb, isn't it? It's got treble. Let's go full treble. I love the reverb. And it's got full bass. Let's go for full bass. I like it. Got to tidy up the strings a bit because it's a bit dirty. New strings. So unfortunately the owner's going to have to give me about 20 quid for all the paint work that I spent money on. I had to turn that into dark brown. But that's about as much as he's going to give me, and he can then make a donation to a CC animal shelter. Love the reverb. Oh, I gotta go. Ciao. Goodbye, Takamine. I'm sure I'll see Takamine's on my bench again because they're constantly coming in. Goodbye.